In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, taking a look at colder than normal conditions that do look to prevail all the way through at least September 7th, 8th, 9th timeframe, but it does look possible that this does extend past the 10th now, as this kind of just keeps getting pushed further and further back. At least the back end does, because the front end is pretty much already here, but when we break it down, you'll see there's actually multiple Arctic blasts that are moving down from northern Canada into the central and eastern United States. So first things first, here's the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the National Weather Service. And of course, we do our own research and we do our own models, but we do like to reference what the National Weather Service is thinking. So this is for the 5th through the 9th. You can see that they do expect below normal temperatures throughout a lot of the central and the eastern states here, with an overall warmer pattern taking place across the west. Really, I said this backwards because that western part is actually what dictates the eastern part. We call that a positive PNA, and it actually forces the cooler air down into the eastern United States, as we can see taking place here. As we just take a look at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, we can see this runs from the 7th through the 13th. This is around when we start to expect that pattern to break up at some point between the 7th and the 13th. Of course, that's what we think as of now. That is pretty far out, so again, that could get pushed further back, but you can see this warmth is now spreading further eastward into the central states, and that's certainly a sign that this is starting to flip. We do still see some areas experiencing below normal temperatures, but it is much more limited than it once was. As we take a look at what the past 5 days of temperatures have looked like, you can see that we already have been in a pretty cool pattern compared to normal, looking at 1 to 10 degrees below normal in the blues and 10 to 15 degrees below normal here throughout a lot of these greens. Really, really significant. We've already seen this, and again, there's more Arctic blasts on the way in. So let's go over some of your general storminess real quickly. And something we're going to be watching for is as the jet stream is ridging over the west and troughing over the east here, we're going to get a flow that generally looks like this. Pretty classic stuff. And we have a lot of storminess down here underneath that jet stream in the Gulf. And the models have picked up on the potential for some nor'easter type systems that try to develop and ride along this jet stream. It's also worth noting that these could at any point pick up some tropical characteristics and start to turn into a tropical depression, tropical storm, or even worse, but they might just stay regular nor'easters if we do see them occur. We see the first one starting to take place as soon as tonight into tomorrow morning off the southeast here. We also see general thunderstorms happening across a lot of your plains there. As we keep going towards Monday afternoon, we can see this one that developed off the southeast wants to kind of meander off the coast. The general flow is northeasterly, not really directly north, so we get that spread eastward instead of it just riding straight up. As we keep going towards Tuesday, we see more and more activity trying to get going here in the Gulf, again, where a lot of this activity, nor'easter-wise, tends to want to get started. As we take a look at Wednesday the 3rd, some interesting things happening here. We see a low between the Great Lakes and the Hudson Bay, which is definitely worth noting. We've seen this time and time again over the past few years that when lows move through here, especially when they're featuring dragging cold fronts, that is a huge sign that we have big time cold air heading into the central and eastern states. You might also notice that we have a ton of warm air moving up the western seaboard. More indicative of, again, that positive PNA pattern that we're watching for. As we keep going, we can see that cold front rides into the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and even into the Northeast by the time we're reaching late next week, Thursday the 4th into Friday the 5th. And by the time we're reaching Friday, Saturday, the 5th, 6th, we do see a large, very intense trough taking place here in the east with a rather intense ridge out west. As we keep going, we can see that overall the conditions are drier. The main areas consistently expecting activity here, according to this model, is areas along the Gulf and East Coast as we get, again, that general flow up the East Coast. We do also see thunderstorms from time to time across the Four Corner states and the plains. As we keep going, We do see a little bit of a weak tropical system heading towards the southeast. This is around the 11th, 12th. That is very far out, so take it with a grain of salt. But this model wants to show something coming very, very close, but we actually don't see it end up impacting us. As we take a look at the total precipitation, we do see, again, increased amounts across the plains where we do have thunderstorms happening semi-frequently. Also, again, we get a lot of storms moving through this area as they're bringing in the cold fronts that are pulling in the cold air, so we do get an above average amount up here as well. And then areas immediately off the Gulf and southeast coasts, we do see a lot of activity as well. So when we look at the anomalies, we are dry for over 75% of the nation, but areas just offshore of the Gulf and the southeast here are seeing a lot. And also the plains, again, a highlight area that is just seeing a good amount, a healthy amount of activity there. As we take a look at the temperature anomalies, first things first, we're going to go over our European model, and then we're going to get the opinion from our GFS model as well. We already have this intense cooldown in place. As we keep going, though, we can see it just sticks around. This is all the way by Wednesday the 3rd, and we finally kind of see this one breaking up into more neutral or near normal air, but we do have Arctic blast number 2, well, blasting down. We do see this positive PNA along the west still taking shape, so that's going to force all of this cold air to move southeasterly. We can see the second one really just explodes onto the scene here. Friday on the 5th of September here, we see widespread 10 to 15 degree below normal temperatures in the greens, and we even see some of those purplish blues popping up, and that's going to be 15 to 25 degrees below normal. So a massive, massive departure from what is typical. As we keep going, that one sticks around for a few days, at least till the 8th, 9th. And then this European model actually has a surprise. It holds on to that warm air along the west here, positive PNA, and it has a third Arctic blast moving into the central and eastern states by the time we're reaching the 11th, 12th time frame. So this would be, again, Arctic blast number 3. But once again, take this with a grain of salt, as we are very into the extended range by this point, so things can definitely change. But we have seen this constant pushback of the back end of it, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does actually extend longer. I, of course, wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't, but we're going to monitor this. It's definitely an interesting situation, and it's just as major as the two before it. So before we know it, I mean, if this all takes place, we could end up just seeing a much below normal temperature September for the whole month, which would just be crazy. As we take a look at the GFS model, we're going to see what agreement we get and what we don't get, but we get that first Arctic blast holding on for dear life. We get the second one lasting at least till the 8th, 9th. Cooler air is still around for the 11th, 12th here on this model as well, so we get great agreement. And then finally, by time we're reaching the 12th and beyond, we do see some warming along the west, and this allows for warmer air to return to the central and eastern states around the midway point of September. But this is a considerable pushback on these models. I mean, this is days later than we were seeing just a couple of days ago. So definitely some big developments here happening. We're going to keep you updated. Again, we upload every single day, so be sure to subscribe. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.